The hype around the new Assassin's Creed game made me think about that godforsaken franchise for the first time in years. All the memories of being so excited to play the first 3 games, just to end up playing the same 3 missions for 8 hours. But the idea of the games will always be incredible and beyond intriguing to me. Maybe a movie would have been a better fit for the story. Maybe a movie with an insanely stacked cast. That'd be so cool to watch. Assassin's Creed opens up with some exposition about the Brotherhood. We transition right into 1986 with some badass guitar which feels so out of place. This kind of modern rock music is never used again throughout the entire movie. We meet our main character, Cal, as a little boy showing off his talents with a bike. I've rewatched this scene maybe like 5-8 times now, and I still don't know how he got all those cuts on his face from this failed stunt. His face wasn't near anything able to cut or gash him. I don't know how he did this. Our young protagonist rides back home only to find his mother lifeless at the table. His reaction to his dead mother also really confuses me. What child just stands there and stares? Why isn't he like panicking at all? Even Dexter shows more emotion than this. What the hell's wrong with this kid? He finally notices his father in the corner cosplaying as an assassin from the Creed. Government agents start to arrive and Cal bolts away on the rooftops showing off some more parkour. We don't get to know what happened to him or if he really got away because we hard cut to present day 2016 and somehow, some way, Cal ended up in jail for capital murder. Who did he kill? We don't know. He later says it was a pimp, but we really don't get any further information because it just doesn't matter, I guess. Cal is facing the chair for the murder of this alleged pimp, and we get a look at his cell in the meantime. It looks like Charles Manson was living in here. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Cal gears up for the chair and curses his father out one last time before being executed. His life starts flashing before him, and we get some Assassin's Creed loading screen cameos as he wakes up in a lab. He finally starts acting human and freaks out, and then he runs out of the room. Or he tries to. He finds a ledge and stands there, staring at the view as another subject tells him to jump.
Good, do it.
We also never see this strange Africa room again. I think it was just a tease towards the leap of faith, nothing else. The lead scientist talks him down and he just laughs. As he begins to maybe understand her and what she's going on about, the guards just shoot him in the neck for actually no reason. He once again wakes up in an unknown location, being strapped into a machine and hidden blades being equipped on his wrists. They mention that they belong to Aguilar, who was the assassin we met in the intro of the movie. Cal, however, has no idea who he is and doesn't even question it. Before we continue, I just want to remind everybody how the first game had the subject take over the mind of their ancestor in a chair. And here's how the movie does it. GLaDOS. They used GLaDOS from Portal. The shots of poor Michael Fassbender being lifted into the air are ridiculous, to say the least. Why did he sign on to this movie? They drop Cal into the past, and what seemed like an over-the-shoulder shot has turned into a landscape shot. I won't question it, because this happens every single time they send him into the memories. A huge battle is taking place while the assassins wait it out. The attackers find the child they were looking for, the prince of some unnamed city, and start interrogating the homeowners. During this, we get some more fan service with the hand on the shoulder that Ezio would do while walking through crowds. I kinda like that. Once the time is right, the Creed finally strikes, and we get to see how agile they truly are. The choreography of this movie is honestly really well done, and it looks great. But the constant cuts to Cal doing the same movements alone, strapped into this machine, looks so goofy. It's completely unnecessary. Just let us watch the past version of these events. We already know it's Cal. A female assassin takes the carriage the prince is held on and rides away. Some war general follows closely behind her, hoping to catch them. These characters are quite important and are consistent throughout the memories, but I don't think either of them ever properly get a name. I mean, if you look up the cast, you can see their name, but I don't think you hear their name once in the movie. That's what you call good writing, by the way, guys. Aguilar steals a horse of his own and chases after them. He gives the general a flat tire and then narrowly saves the kid from the cliffside. The horses probably would have just turned at the last second and they would have been fine because we actually do watch the horses turn from the cliff. But if they just did that, how would they copy the Amazing Spider-Man bridge scene? This traumatic experience leaves Cal paralyzed for a bit, but he should be fine by tomorrow. The head scientist, Sophia, and her father discuss the operation with Cal. This scene tells us the end goal of the experiment. They plan to find the Apple of Eden and use it to rid the world of violence. I don't really understand it, but since the apple gave humans free will, they plan to take that away? That's what I gathered. After watching this movie a few times, that's what I gathered. They want to take away free will so people are no longer violent. Dr. Vogel shows up and is a queen in the Templar system. Once again, I don't know. They don't really go into it. They just say one little keyword that makes me think that she's royalty. Anyway, Dr. Vogel threatens to cut him off investment-wise until he mentions that they have Cal, and that he can show them the apple's final location. Cal wakes up and stares through the glass at the guards outside his room. This really should have been a one-way mirror, but what do I know? He hallucinates Aguilar walking behind him in the glass and just accepts death. Sophia comes in and tries to convince him to once again cooperate with her. He reacts in a very nice way, and then delivers one of the worst lines I have ever heard.
Why the aggression?
I'm an aggressive person.
Brushing past that, Cal then asks politely for lunch. Instead of taking him to the cafe, she takes him to her office. His eyes wander around the room, noticing each and every item of his they've collected over the years.
Oh, hey, that's the subscribe button.
Sophia makes a very non-PC statement, saying that families of crime will continue to commit crime, and then once again, he begs her to eat lunch. Sophia takes him to the rec room and promises him a new life if he complies with her. He just smirks. The other patients, hostages, whatever you want to call them, take notice of Cal quickly, whispering and staring in both awe and resentment. Except we don't know why they don't trust him yet. They just don't. One of the inmates approaches Cal and mimics the waitress, displaying how robotic they are. He orders a steak, yet never says how he wants it done. It's in the hands of God now, I suppose. Cal and the inmate have a little chat and feel each other out.
They call me Musa, but my name is Baptiste. I'm dead 200 years now.
Even Musa points out that everyone is watching Cal trying to read him. Musa then says some weird cryptic shit and just walks away, as another inmate gives Cal an apple. That freak show then strolls away, as the next sprints over and tries to take the apple. Cal shows his first trace of humanity nearly 40 minutes into this movie.
What the fuck is going on?
His steak arrives, which is very concerning because it hasn't even been 2 minutes. I would not eat that steak if I were you, Cal. Yep, look what happened now, dumbass. The steak must have been laced with something evil, because after this, he has consistent hallucinations of Aguilar. He even has a brawl with him where he easily matches his every move. Which begs the question, why is Cal such an expert fighter? Where and how did he learn this? I won't accept it being in his bloodline as an answer, because that is shit writing. This shadowboxing turns real, as simple employees try to escort him for more tests. Once they get their hands on him, he breaks into song about how crazy he is. The writers really don't seem to know what to do with him. Sometimes he's normal, sometimes he's full-blown psycho. I don't know what to believe. Sophia sends him back to the late 1400s, where he, along with the other captured assassins, are set to be executed. We get some hints of a romance between Aguilar and his female assassin friend, but still not her name. Their teacher then gets burned alive, and Aguilar uses this extra time to break free of his chains, fighting off the guards. He sets his girlfriend free, and they make a run for it, leading us into one of many iconic Assassin's Creed chase scenes. I'd be lying if I said this wasn't a cool scene, but I can, however, question how the guards can follow them in parkour this well. We do get to see some of them fail and fall off the buildings, but I don't think nearly enough. Maybe that's just a me problem though. Overall, it's a good scene. This scene also shows off the movie's fantastic set and costume design. They actually look incredible. It's a shame that the writing didn't get near the same treatment. I'd also like to point out how the arrows just appear out of thin air. The only one we ever see him grab is out of this other extra's hand. At the end of it, the chase scene leads the two of them atop of a construction site where they have no choice besides the leap of faith. But since this is not the climax of the movie yet, we only get teased as they pull Cal out of the memory since he isn't personally ready yet. Since Cal was full-blown crazy as they sent him into the memory and then abruptly pulled him out, he starts seizing on the ground. The scientists are sick of him and his antics by this point in the movie and just take full advantage of this opportunity to tie him down and slowly drown him. He regains movement in his legs and decides it is the perfect time to strike up some yoga poses for the camera. Sophia's father interrupts his routine and takes him to see his father for the first time in 30 years. Along the way, Sophia catches them walking together on the security camera, which is set up exactly like the prior scene and even moves with them. Really high-tech security. Cal and his father have a heart-to-heart in their own twisted way, and during this, the room that was once full and crowded a second ago is now empty and barren. His dad tells him to not give up the apple, and Cal says that he just plans to do it just to spite him. As he leaves the room, the other inmates somehow get a hold of a bunch of weapons and attack him and kill off the guards. All on camera, again by the way, meaning that the other guards watching this just saw all these inmates prepare for this ambush and didn't do a thing about it. It's fine though, because Cal solos and may even have superpowers. Then, in a fit of rage, he goes to the Animus on his own free will. Aguilar's final mission is to protect the apple and find a safe location to keep it. He and his girlfriend watch above as the Sultan trades it for his son. Once the apple is within vision, they smoke the room out and jump in headfirst, prepared to kill and die for the apple. The scene is honestly great. It may be one of the best scenes of the movie. It's fast, dramatic, and it just looks great. The war general grabs the girl and says for Aguilar to drop the Pope. Aguilar just stands there for a little bit and then she dies anyway. He didn't even have a choice. It's now an intense 1v1 that ends with Aguilar using the hidden nail shooter from his girlfriend's corpse to take him down. The Pope opens up the gates to the room and hundreds of guards come flooding in. We get another chase scene in the sewers and then a cameo from Christopher Columbus, leading us straight to the apple's final resting place. As Cal slowly comes back to reality, he has visions of his ancestors and mother speaking to him. During all of this, the inmates somehow got their hands on even more weapons and uses them to escape. If only Michael Scofield did this. Sophia and her father leave to get the apple as the inmates recruit Cal as their leader, even though just like 5-10 minutes earlier they were trying to kill him so he wouldn't give up the apple. But now that he already did give it up, they want him as their leader. Sure, yeah, okay. The little white kid who tried to jump Cal and steal the apple at the start of the movie dies, and I think we're supposed to care, but once again, we didn't know his name, so I don't care. Cal hears Sophia leaving the helicopter above and scales the Animus, trying to reach them. It looks so ridiculous. The top 1% of England have a meeting, and Sophia starts to resent them for the evil they plan to do with the apple. She even compares herself to Oppenheimer in yet another horrible line.
Now I am become death,
Dude.
the destroyer of worlds.
As their big victory meeting is happening, Cal and Sophia have a little chat about the whole situation. Don't ask how he even got here, by the way, just know he did. Also, don't ask how the rest of the Creed showed up as well, all fully armed with weapons of their liking. You'd expect this place to be heavily guarded, but it's not. Cal kills Alan mid-speech and barely anybody reacts. The crowd calmly just leaves the building, and the guards just kind of jerk off in the corner or something. The Creed joins them in the slow walkout as Sophia is just stunned and confused by the situation. The movie ends with the Creed somehow already 2 miles across the city in 2 minutes or less. I'm telling you, man, they gotta have superpowers. The movie was definitely trying to build up into a sequel, but thankfully that never happened because this was horrible. I basically had to watch this shit show 3 times for this video, so if you want to subscribe for the pain I went through, I would really appreciate that. Out of 10, this movie's like a 3. It has some great set and costume designs, but the story and writing are some of the worst I've seen in a long time. It also just feels so sporadic. It's all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be. If anything, this movie only fueled my dislike for the franchise as a whole. I really enjoy Michael Fassbender as an actor, so watching him in this movie was like a knife to the gut. What a pitiful movie. If you want me to cover some other video game movies, good or bad, please comment them down below. Or if you just have any general video ideas, I have a Discord that you can join, and there's a whole channel dedicated just to video ideas. So it'd be great if you could come join the community. I hope to see you all in the next one.
He left me a voicemail.
Who needs you?
Who's the big guy? No!
Thanks, Ian.